If you are going to spend a couple $1,000s on an online course, it really is going to pay itself off very quickly. Even after you're successful, you found success, to not ever be content and complacent with how much you've already learned, but to always keep learning. And then you can always learn from other people that you're talking to. I mean, other entrepreneurs, other people in the network.
In this episode, we're going to talk to Lindsay, founder and editor-in-chief, where she shares her insights and how networking can elevate your entrepreneurial journey. Hope you enjoy it. Awesome. Okay, Lindsay, thank you so much for being here today. We love just having guests like yourself, entrepreneurial guests that have an inspiring story. And like you certainly inspired us. And I'm sure that people who watch this will definitely have some takeaways. And what I really loved about your story was listening to dealing with like a medical challenge whilst also running a business. And I don't know if a lot of entrepreneurs actually talk about health and entrepreneurship. It's not something that I hear a lot about. So I have a bit of a chronic condition, and I also struggle from pain, like some days, whilst also running a business. So it's really like nice to hear people sharing that journey and just seeing how people overcome it. So yeah, we can dive into our questions. If that's okay.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be talking to you guys in the UK. So taking it international.
Awesome. And Lindsay's from California, Southern California, I believe.
Yeah, I live in Huntington Beach.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. How long have you been there, Lindsay? Did you grow up in Huntington Beach?
No, I've been here about 4 years now. I grew up in a small town towards Palm Springs and then went to college in San Diego, moved to Long Beach, and then now I've been in Orange County for, the last 4 years. And I run a publication in Laguna Beach called Laguna Beach Living. So I love Orange County, and I think it's a beautiful place. We had our first hurricane like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was like nothing. Everyone was preparing for it, but it was like a little bit of rain, but it was funny.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. We always see those funny videos of like people in Southern California like dealing with rain when we're from the UK and it rains pretty much every day.
Yeah, it was all over the news. Like, this is what we need to do to prepare. And then it was like some rain and like some light wind. It was like the first tropical storm / hurricane in since 1938. So everyone was making a big deal about it, but it was
okay in the end. Okay, we might have to reschedule the podcast.
Sorry, I've been in a hurricane.
Awesome. Okay.
Should they get stuck in?
Yes, let's get stuck in. So, Lindsay, so could you share a little bit about your incredible journey of overcoming your medical challenge whilst also running a business?
Yeah. So, I guess I could start from the beginning. I've been a journalist for 20 years. I started the campus newspaper in high school and then college. And then after college, interning and writing for free for any magazine that would take me. But I just slowly worked my way up the editorial ladder. Eventually, about 8-9 years ago, I landed at a magazine as their editorial director. And it was a popular wellness magazine. We had a print publication and daily content on the website. We were sold in Urban Outfitters and Whole Foods, and we would have launch parties in New York. And it was just a blast. And I managed 200 freelance writers from all over the world. I just loved it. Right after I got that job, which is the job that I had been waiting for, working towards for the last decade, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that was just how did this happen now? But, I had to do the whole shebang. I was only 33 when I was diagnosed. And my whole shtick was I had this long red hair. I would fly to the world's largest redhead festival in the Netherlands every single year. I was the proudest redhead.
Wow.
And so it was just a really sad thing to, have to now deal with this right after I had just gotten my dream job. I did chemo, I did radiation, I did surgery, and I'm all good. And I was able to work throughout the whole treatment. Like I'd go to chemo and then I'd come back and I'd work. But I mean, it also helped that journalists can write from wherever, like I could write in bed with a bald head. So I did interviews with celebrities, like as a sick cancer patient. They had no idea who they were talking to, it was just like something I did. But, that just created, I already had a strong work ethic, but that created this like drive for me to, succeed. And then also it like put this like planted this seed in my head that I wanted to be the boss. Sure, I was editorial director. I was boss of 200 writers. However, I had my editor-in-chief above me. And, I wanted to be able to, not ask someone if I wanted to take a sick day or if I wasn't feeling good. I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to own my own publication. And so, halfway through the fullest, or the wellness publication, we decided that we were going to launch an online publication in Laguna Beach just because we knew how to start a successful publication. We had an amazing team. We had art directors, we had graphic designers, we had writers. So what we did was we built the website, we launched it, we wrote the articles, and then we had it for a year, and it was just so much fun. I love Laguna Beach. I loved highlighting the town. I loved interviewing local businesses. I loved it all. And so about a year in, we realized, the editor-in-chief realized like, hey, we shouldn't have two publications, we should focus on one. So she wanted to start shopping Laguna Beach Living around. And I was like, no, I don't want to shop it around. I want it. Like, it's my dream job. And like, I've been here from the beginning. I like help create it. I want to like buy you out. And so I was able to buy her out. This was February of 2020. So the pandemic happened 1 month later. And then I was like, oh my gosh, because I have always come from, magazines where I'm the editorial director, but I don't deal with ads. I don't talk to people about money. I don't like make graphics. I have a sales team. I have an art director. I like had people to do all that. And so when I took over Laguna Beach Living in, the pandemic, I had to learn from scratch how to sell ads, how to make a media kit, how to send an email to a local business that they actually wanted to read, that they weren't just going to completely like disregard. And so I learned so much. I took online courses. I, learned everything. I applied everything that I had learned in my decade at that time in the journalism industry. And I, applied it into Laguna Beach Living. And then within like, I think 3 months, I sold my first ad, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then all of a sudden, Laguna Beach Living was like this successful publication. I was able to quit the magazine job and focus completely on Laguna Beach Living. And now I get to create other publications for people in other cities. So that's where this has all snowballed from. And it's an absolute dream. So we're in 14 cities now.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Lindsay, what was like the thing that gave you the strength to continue working on your business during this challenging time? And I can't imagine like the stresses that you were going through, balancing your health and starting this business and learning new skills. And it must have been like a time where you were so passionate and excited, but on the other side, you were challenged by your health. And like, how did you balance the two, or how did you find strength to continue working on this? Because it sounds like you're really excited about it and it's so passionate.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's exactly it. It's like being passionate about anything. And so I think that's what people need to look for is just, if you do what you love, then you're not going to be working at it, like that's like such a generic quote, but it really is true. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like excited to look at my email, and like I tell people that and they're like, what? Like that sounds insane. But every day it's like something new. I got invited to a new event, or like someone wants to send me something, or like they want to advertise. And it's just like fun. I never know what tomorrow's going to be. You know, today I'm on a podcast and like had a photo shoot. And then like tomorrow, you know, is something completely different. I have a sales call. Like it's just awesome. And I mean, like whether it's a health trial, whether it's a national pandemic or international pandemic, it's just about finding something that you're passionate with. And that's what I really like. You know, I found my dream job. I knew it was somewhere in the journalism industry. And I, you know, did so many jobs in the journalism industry to find where I landed, you know, like intern and associate editorial, you know, like I did so much until I found that this is what I wanted to be. I wanted to be, you know, editor-in-chief of a city-specific publication. And then I wanted to be a teacher that is able to now coach people to do the same things in their own towns. So
fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I completely resonate with the loving what you do every day. And I think even when I do have a bad day or something isn't quite going my way, Viren is very good at reminding me, hey, 2-3 years ago, you were at a job that you did not like. And that Roshni would have dreamt to be where you are today. So yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen Roshni firsthand just transform her way of being around health, especially when she did something she loved every day. And almost that's medicine for your like soul and your well-being in itself, right? Like,
for
Amazing.
sure. It's so wonderful to be like, wake up and be grateful for your life and be happy for your life. And if you are having to like wake up and go and work for 8 hours on something that you're not passionate about, or someone else's dream, then like, why not start your own business, you know, like with something that you're passionate about. So that's what I'm just so honored that I get to like help people create their dream jobs. You know, I'm giving them a business in 30 days that's like a full blown, like, you can do this on your own. You can make it what you want. You can run it to the ground if you want, or you could like make it into $1 million business. So it's a great opportunity, and I feel like I'm helping people. So
fantastic.
And do you feel like when you're in service of others and you're giving so much unselfishly to like other people, your kind of mental state and health state naturally blossoms as well? Like, because you're not so focused in your own stuff, you're giving so much away, the value you're giving, and that in itself again transcends into like a sense of like just happiness and joy, and I think you just feel healthier in the mind again and soul.
Translates into your business.
I mean, being happy and positive in your mind, I think, is really truly the best medicine. I mean, other than like chemo if you have cancer or something, but like you can't just be happy. But I mean, it's such a huge thing to not have stress in your life if you can help it. You know, obviously running your own business can be very stressful sometimes, but it's something that, you know, you are the boss of. You can like take a Wednesday off at noon if you want to. You can like go on a walk with the dogs. You can do whatever you want as long as you're getting your stuff done. So I think that it's been a dream for me. So I love
Amazing.
it.
Great.
So the next, so I mean, you've touched on yourself. You went from journalism to entrepreneurialism. How did your background in journalism influence you becoming an entrepreneur today? Was there anything specific, that you took from journalism, or that transition?
Yeah. So, I mean, what I do is with Laguna Beach Living and with the City Living Network creating these new cities, we are highlighting local businesses and entrepreneurs in these specific towns. So we, do a photo shoot with them. We pair it with a beautifully written article that is going to live on the internet forever. It's going to help this small business with their SEO. It's going to be something that they're able to, link back to on their own site and create a backlink, which will also help. It's just like a great way to promote yourself in the local community. And so that's where my journalism background, really plays a great fit. I mean, I've written articles about the oil crisis in the Middle East, I've written articles like about politics and about stuff that, doesn't fulfill me. I mean, it needs to be written, but I don't want to be. I didn't strive to be that type of journalist that is, going and getting in the middle of everything. I want to highlight my local town. I want to be able to be the person that tells you where to go to the best beach or where to go for the best pizza in town. Or, that's the kind I want to be. For some, it may be shallow, but that's my journalism career. I didn't want to, have that I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to make people that come to my town have the best time ever. And so that's where my journalism background came, but I had to work my way up. I had to write about things that I didn't love for a really long time in order to get to the point where now I get to write about whatever I want, or I have writers write for me, I have a team of writers, and so it's been great. But I've realized that I like to be, the boss. So I get to be editor in chief. I get to edit the final articles and upload them. So that's what I like doing. I'm more into which is so surprising now, but I'm more into talking to people on the phone and telling them why they should work with us and how we can help them, because that's not the thing. We're not just highlighting the best pizza in town. We are highlighting the business owner that runs the best restaurant that sells the best pizza in town. So we're really helping this small business. We're helping their family. We're bringing business to them. And so that's what it is. It's we are helping people. We're just helping people in a very localized way.
Yeah.
And what was the why from going from a journalist talking about the oil crisis to this local community? Is it just the pride and joy that you have for your local community? Is it just seeing the results of your work and seeing that local business them thrive and the inspiration and magic behind all that? And what was your your why?
Yeah, I think so. To being able to help a small business owner in your own town, start small. I'm not gonna change the world with this, but if I can get in every city and, find people very passionate about their town and about highlighting the small businesses in their own town, then that is going to make a huge impact. I don't need to be on the front lines of something that is going to ultimately bring me down. I think 10 years after college, I was approached. At the time, I was associate editor at a private jet magazine in San Diego. And so we would interview all the fancy businessmen that would fly our jets. And it was awesome. And one of the guys, he was a lawyer and he was the top attorney, and he was dealt with child sex crimes. And he, reached out to me and was I want you to ghostwrite a book for me about child sex crimes, basically an A to Z guide of what to do, when that has happened to your child. And I was sure, I'll do it, because I needed to pay off my student loans. But I spent 9 months on that. I interviewed victims. I interviewed psychologists. I did so much research, and it put me in a depression. It was so sad. It was something that I didn't want to wake up and do, because I didn't want to wake up and go and have to dive into this, because it was so sad. And yes, it helped people, but I just realized that I want to help people on a more localized way and in a happier way. Every job doesn't need to be something that makes you sad. And so that's kind of was one of the pushes that also made me realize that I want to help people in a very localized way. So that's what we're doing. We're highlighting the best businesses and entrepreneurs in our town. So
yeah. Fantastic. And that to me is, I mean, you've mentioned you're not wanting to change the world, but I think bit by bit that does, because you're really highlighting the great stuff happening in every city. Like you said, you're highlighting small business owners, people who do struggle day to day. And I just think that's fantastic. That's, really great.
And like, for local people, that is their world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that is the local community is everything. And to a small business owner, like their whole world is their local community. And it's just like, I think it may not like be the CNN headline that people want and the big break, things like that. But I think it to local people, everyday walks of life, you are making a difference. So I really acknowledge you for the difference you make to that local business as well. So yeah,
100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really, it's a dream. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Awesome. So that takes us on to our next question. Could you share some of your more memorable success stories, or something that was a very impactful moment that resulted from one of your city publications?
Yeah. So we are now in 14 cities. So about a couple years into Laguna Beach Living, I had a girl from Lexington, Kentucky reach out and she was like, "You have my dream job. Can you teach me how to build a publication in Lexington?" And I was like, "Well, I've never been to Lexington, but like, this is what I can do. I'm like a web designer. I could, teach you everything I've learned in the journalism industry in a 9-module course, teach you how to sell ads, teach you how to get writers and interns and photographers, and teach you how to like monetize it." And I like emailed her back, and within an hour she emailed me back and was like, "Let's do it." And I was like, "Dang it, I should have asked for more money." But so that was where it all began, because it was just Laguna Beach Living. And then so that was the start of the City Living Network. Now, that was 18 months ago. Now the City Living Network is in 14 cities across the US. So we have North Carolina, we have Lexington, we have Denver, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and a bunch in California. It's just been awesome. Like my Lexington girl, she's been interviewed on ABC News 2 times. Like my Las Vegas girl, she is constantly creating like amazing events for like moms in Las Vegas. My Prescott girl has just become like a little ad machine, and she's just selling ads nonstop. And everyone's just amazing. My San Diego editor, she is a school counselor, and this is just like a side project for her. And she's able to, really make the San Diego publication like geared towards wellness. And so she kind of like coincides her 2 passions with it. And so everyone that I've teamed up with, all the editors, they're 100% owners of their publications, and they are just like all so smart, and they've taken it in such different directions, and then the beauty of it is we all get on a monthly Zoom call, and then our Las Vegas editor is able to share about the launch party she just had, or our Prescott Days girl will share about the ad she just sold. So it's awesome because we're all kind of like in different places, and we're all helping each other along. And so that network, that community has been very valuable. And as it grows from 14 to 100 to 1,000, I mean, there's like 19,000 cities in the world. I just Googled it. I mean, it could get big. So we just, I've just been so proud of everyone. And I really do think that every city needs something like this, because it's localized digital media, which isn't run by a local tourism board. Sure, there's tourism boards in every city. In London, there's a zillion. But the fact that it's run by one specific local who is very involved in their own town, who is like people trust, trust, it is like that, I think, is the beauty of it. And it's not like I'm not like in all the photos or in the videos, it's like I'm behind the scenes. It's not like I'm like saying, oh, I'm an influencer in Laguna Beach, because that's not what it is at all. I'm an editor-in-chief of a like really successful publication in Laguna Beach. And so I think that is what is the difference between just like being like, oh, I'm an influencer in London, rather than, oh, I run a digital publication in London, So that's what I think is, the difference between it. You get this like level of respect, and then businesses really want to work with you because they want to be featured in your publication. They want that beautiful article that is going to live on the internet, that they are going to be able to link to their site, link on their social media. And so it's awesome. I love it. Have I said that?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And then, how has these stories contributed to the ground level on the actual communities, and what have you seen as like a
local businesses,
like an effect, like that caused like this thing, that caused that thing, and you're like, oh wow, I can see like that was the start of like
I've had a lot of like ads. Like there's a woman that this is such a California thing to say, but she like paints surfboards, and she like really cool, beautiful aesthetic, and she sells them for thousands of dollars. And, she had just moved to town. We did an ad together. We went to her studio. We took like photos of her with her surfboards and like painting them. And then we did like a Q&A article with her, and she blew up after that. She like the coolest Hotel Laguna in Laguna. Like they like bought a bunch of surfboards from her for their new like beach club, and like then like the coffee shop did. And then all of a sudden because of this article and because of this photo shoot, she had inquiries from everywhere. I mean, same, like there was an interior designer. As soon as we posted the article, she was like booked solid through like July or something, it's just like having that localized aspect from a beautiful publication that you trust is what you need. Like anytime someone's traveling, they're Googling, where do I go to get the best tacos, or, whatever. And so if my publication pops up, or hikes, where do I go for a hike in London or Laguna? But like my publication comes up and it's like very aesthetic and it's very beautiful. That's the publication you're going to go to, rather than some Visit London or Visit Laguna Beach tourism board website. Yeah. So that's the thing. And that's the thing with the City Living Network, is all of our publications, I have designed them. I like create the branding for you. I build the logo. I do the colors and the fonts, and I create the website. I get you the launch articles. I make you a beautiful media kit. I give you the exact email templates that I use when I'm selling ads for Laguna Beach Living. So everything that I have learned that has made Laguna Beach Living so successful, I've bundled it up into this 9-module course that like you get as a client of the City Living Network. And then you, in 30 days, you have a full-blown publication that's live, that is ready to go and make money. And I think that's just the beauty of it, because I remember 10 years ago when I had first moved to Long Beach, I bought the domain Long Beach Style, and I was going to make a little style blog, and it was going to be so cool. I had no idea how to build a website. I didn't know how to, at that time, I didn't know how to get interns. I went on Craigslist and I was like, I'm looking for an intern. And it's just like, I didn't know how to do it. And so eventually, that was my dream, and it just finally like died. And so then when this happened, it was awesome, because if someone 10 years ago, or maybe that was like 12 or 13 years ago now, but if someone back then would have been like, hey, I will create you everything you need to do in 30 days. I will make Long Beach Style like live, and it will be an actual real life thing. I would have paid. I had no money at the time, but I would have figured out how to get that money to get that up and running. And so I think that's the beauty of the City Living Network, is that you are getting something. You are getting your dream, your idea. It goes from idea to launch party, you know, like I help you throw a launch party for free, you know?
That's amazing.
And so it's from idea to launch party in 30 days. And it's just awesome because you're not sitting on your dream. You're actually making it happen, you know? And that's another thing with these publications is, sure, the initial investment is a lot, like, and it's going up. Like with every city I sell, I like raise it like $500 because there's been so many like people interested. However, once you get past that initial investment, the overhead of running a digital publication is like $300 a year. Like you pay for like web hosting, you know, it's not a lot. And so then it's just all that ad revenue that you're making from helping these small businesses is just going into your pocket, or paying photographers, paying writers, you know, if you're not doing it yourself. But there's so many ways that you can, you know, find, you know, new writers or new photographers in town who will be so happy and honored to be working with you, that they'll do, you know, like trades, and they'll do it for like lower rate than they're used to because they're getting that exposure. I mean, I've worked with so many photographers that thank me so much because they're like, me doing that photo shoot for you and whatever brand it was whatever business it was, that I hired them for, you know, because of that article, they ended up getting so much more business from locals in town. And so it's just like a really great way to help everyone in town that is an entrepreneur or a small business owner, whether it's a photographer, a writer, a small business. It's so fun.
Yeah,
so that's really great.
It's really great. You're building a community at the end of the day, and it's like you said, you're collaborating so much that it's helping so many people, and I really love that. Yeah.
And
thank you.
Like
Thank you.
All this excitement with all this expanding to different cities, and it's like really taking off. And the next question is like, how do you, like, going back to your health, but like your general like mental health and your motivation and inspiration towards it, how do you balance that demand to continually have that positive outlook, how to continually focus on your business goals? And like, it might be exciting with this expanding so much, but someone might get overwhelmed by that possibly, or they might feel stressed by it. So what strategies and tools do you use to manage and focus your business goals and stay, like present to it? Yeah.
So I think a huge thing is being the owner. Like if like the owner of my publication, you know, if I want to, it's a Wednesday and I want to sleep in, and like if I had to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, like I probably wouldn't be all like, I mean, maybe, but
jolly every day.
I'd probably get used to it eventually. But you know, if there's a day where I don't want to set my alarm and I want to wake up when my body tells me that I need to wake up, then I'm going to do that. If it's a Wednesday and I don't want to work at all, like I won't. Or if it's a Thursday and I want to go to lunch with my friends at 2, like I will. And so I think having that like freedom to do what I want because I am my own boss is huge for me. You know, like but I've always kind of known that I didn't want to have that kind of 9 to 5 structure. I've never actually had one right out of college just because I've always like had little like, I mean, I've always been this go-getter, but I right out of college, I had like a zillion jobs, you know, where I got paid no money, but I was like doing this and I was doing this and I was doing this, but I just knew that I didn't ever want to be in like a cubicle in an office. And so I knew I needed to be having the freedom to, you know, work when I pleased. And the thing is, I do work all the time. I mean, some days I'll work till midnight, because I'm
Yeah.
having fun doing it, because I actually like it, because emailing like a local business and sending my media kit doesn't really seem like work, or like going and having coffee. Like I just got invited to coffee by like a local like jujitsu like shop in Laguna, and like I looked him up, and he's this like tall handsome man, and he has like 5 black belts, and I'm like, sure, I'll go to coffee with
Why
you.
not?
Awesome.
That's really cool. See, I think what you're saying is like, if you're enjoying it, naturally you look after yourself anyway. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
and then like,
yeah.
so you work till like 11 p.m. you said, and you work flat out, but then you can maybe give yourself the next day to rest, and you have that flexibility to really decide what
you set your own terms.
Set your own. And then how do you give yourself that rest? Do you like have to discipline yourself? Like, I only work this amount of time per week, or what strategies do you use? No. Just curious.
It's as much as I need to, you know, to get the job done. If I have like a super busy week like today, like I was like 2 photo shoots, you know, and then a podcast. And so like it, but then tomorrow I have like a lunch, you know, it's not going to be, you know, jam packed every day. And then, you know, if next week I want to go on vacation, I can, you know, it's just kind of what I feel like when I want. And I know that saying it out loud sounds very like I'm so privileged, but I am. I mean, that's an amazing thing, but that's something that I worked very, very, very hard to get. I did not get this handed to me. Like literally there were times when I had no money at all, and I was literally writing like huge spreads in popular magazines and getting paid $0 for it. And I would, you know, I mean, the sex crime book, I mean, I was in my house for 9 months being sad. So now like having this is, I think that's why I'm so happy about it, is because I love the fact that I get to highlight my town, and I get to run my own business, and I get to teach people how to create dream jobs for themselves. So I'm happy about it.
No, Lindsay, that's so refreshing to hear, because, and I think there is this slight move away from the hustle culture. And there's the hustle, but then there's also the listening to your body. And as creatives, like I guess we have to listen to our bodies, and we have to rest and recoup when it's asking for that. And I think sometimes I put too much pressure on myself, like, you know, I should be working right now, or I should be taking some time off right now. And it's just like, okay, let's take the pressure off, and like, what is my body asking me to do right now? And it's just, it's like, nice to hear.
I think when we work as a couple, like, I'm happy to work like 1 hour a day. Like, you know, like, I'm happy just to like chill, like go to the pool, go walk
and
for
give
ages.
me a to-do list.
But Roshi's like, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. And I'm like, let's take it easy. Let's relax a bit. You know,
there's no deadline.
There's no deadline.
Unless it's a client, you know.
We're our own boss. We can choose to like, you know, and then I think and so what? Like, who cares what people think? Like, I used to be so ashamed. Like, oh, my friend would be like, oh, I've worked 9 hours today. And I'm like, I've only done like 2 hours. And I used to feel like ashamed of that. And like,
because there's still like, I mean, I left my 9 to 5, through 2.5 years ago. So there's still this ingrained idea that if you're not at your desk 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and I don't even know if it's a British mentality or something that we have. Like our parents would say, you know, why aren't you working? Why are you guys out at the beach today? You know, it's like trying to explain to your non-entrepreneurial parents that we run our own business, we set our own terms. We don't. You know?
Definitely.
So,
and I think hearing you, sorry, go ahead.
It's such a wonderful thing. It's such a privilege and such a wonderful thing that I don't take for granted. And I know that it, you know, took a long time to get here. And I mean, branching out, everyone can do it too. It doesn't matter. I mean, where you came from or what background you are, you know, if you like with the internet these days, if you can learn anything on the internet for free, you know, you don't need to. I tell all My City Living Network editors, this is all stuff that you can find free on the internet.
Yeah.
If you want to spend a year, doing trial and error, and you want to spend a year gathering that information, you can do it. You could do this on your own. But the beauty of it is that I bundle it together, I create it for you, and I hand it off to you as 100% winner in 30 days. But that's the thing, is that we don't need to, everyone, no one needs to be sad. No one needs to be living a job that they don't want to, because with the internet, with all the free services on the internet, you can create something. You can teach yourself how to become a designer, teach yourself how to become a journalist, how to become an editor, how to become a web designer. You can teach yourself. And so I think it's just a matter of really, applying yourself and figuring out what you're passionate about. Obviously, like, I'm not going to go watch a bunch of YouTube videos about how to become a singer, because I'm not interested in that. And I probably could not do that, actually. So, but you know what I mean? Like, it's picking what you're passionate about it, and then really like applying what you can learn.
Yeah,
definitely. I think what I got from that, I read this book called Chillpreneur. It's by Chill and Prosper by a female entrepreneur. And she said, like, everything in business you can just Google. And it was the quote, it was like, information isn't the hard thing. You can just Google that, but it all just comes down to your mindset or something like that. I'm not saying it properly. But
I think
it's like the information is there, like, is no excuse, and it's up to you to create that like courage and that mindset to then go out and get that information and create the business.
It is just mindset and believing that you can.
Believing that you can.
Definitely. Yeah. And just it's exciting to hear your lifestyle and what you're creating from that. So
really exciting.
And then you said, like, we're going into, like, so I keep saying the word like. You mentioned that you took Paige Brunton's Squarespace Secrets course, and you said about how, like, you gave the city this package that really saves them a lot of time, and you obviously got to practice what you preach. Like, how much time did it take when you did these courses? And you're not looking for information, but you're looking for transformation from these courses. And what were the benefits that you got from the Paige Brunton course? We've done it
as well.
We've done both of the courses, and it really shaped and crafted our business.
Transformed so much.
And what was your experience of not wasting all that time and just getting like a blueprint or a ready-made box business that you could get from someone like Paige Brunton or other people who have crafted that?
I mean, it was awesome. She really like helped me, like craft my web design skills. Because like I said, I had been in the journalism industry. I had a web designer to build the websites, so I knew like the basics, and I knew how to upload an article and blah, blah, blah. But like, it really helped me to actually learn how to build a website from the ground up, and just like how to structure the business aspect of it. And then, I mean, I've taken so many courses, in the pandemic, I was like taking course after course. I've learned from a lot of amazing people. And so that's kind of like what I have been able to do now that I have this business, creating these blogs, is that I'm able to take the things that I've learned and obviously like apply them in my own way, and then teach my students how to do that. Obviously, I'm not teaching anyone how to become a web designer, but I'm handing them a website and teaching them how to upload a blog and teaching them how to maintain that website, so they don't need to hire a web designer in the future or to hire someone to do web maintenance. So I'm teaching them how to do a lot of the things that I've like learned over my years in as a journalist, my years trial and error, you know, like, so I'm so thankful for online courses. And, you know, I just actually sent out a newsletter to all my newsletter list about how I've spent like over like $100,000 in online courses and stuff. And, you know, that knowledge has been bundled into like something that I can now pass on to people. And my course, I was actually talking to my Dana Point editor yesterday because she's going through the course now. And I've structured the course so it's 9 modules, but they're all very short. So you could go through my whole course in 2 days. You could go through it in a weekend. And I've had courses where, you know, like you have to spend a month on it and then you don't end up ever even going through the course because it's such like a thing that you like is weighing on you that you have to do. And so, yeah, my course is straight and to the point. My videos are like, I think my longest video is 20 minutes, you know, but they average around 6-7 minutes. It's just like, here's your media kit. This is how to edit the media kit. This is what needs to like, what you need to like always include. You know, it's very straightforward and to the point. And I mean, my girl yesterday, the Dana Point girl, she's been a graphic designer for 20 years. And she said she was learning things from my course, you know, that she didn't even know. So it's, I think courses are amazing. I love Paige Bruton. She just interviewed me on her podcast as one of her most successful students. And then I got to be on that like webinar, boot camp that she hosted.
Oh, okay,
so
awesome.
Really cool
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
A guest speaker.
That's really cool, Lindsay. Yeah. And like if I was an entrepreneur and I'm like really reluctant to buy a course and I'm like, oh, but like I have to, all the information's out there for free. Like, why should I buy a course? Like, what would you say to those aspiring entrepreneurs? What advice would you say about buying courses and stuff? Yeah. I
just think it's so valuable. I mean, I think at this point, there's this meme that I saw that was like, I learned everything I needed to, or I learned everything, or in 4 years, something like in 4 years, or I learned everything from an online course that it took me 4 years or in college or something like, you know, it's so true because I mean, I went to 4 years of a university, an expensive university, and I really learned my career is now based on the things that I learned in courses or, you know, in just real life of being out there and being an intern and being, you know, a journalist with no money and being a hustler. Like that's what I learned. I mean, college was fun. Yes, it was very fun. I don't regret going to college. However, I 100% think that like if you are going to spend a couple $1,000s on an online course, it really is going to pay itself off very quickly. You know, my cities at this point, I'm selling them for $14,500. But I mean, my Lexington editor, she was getting invites on press trips before we even launched the site, just from her media kit and like a little cover page. And she was like, she's a little go-getter. And her like main goal was to like travel and get invited on press trips and get to go stay at fancy hotels in New York and stuff. And so she was just sending out that media kit nonstop to say like who we are, blah, blah, blah. And she was going to New York, to Hilton Head, like to like all these amazing fun places. I mean, and those trips alone, $4,000, $5,000 just for that like trip, because you're getting wined and dined. You're staying at the nicest hotel. You're going to the nicest dinners. I mean, the perks that come with like just this is amazing. I mean, I get
for sure
boxes sent to me every day that are like from brands that are like, try this product or whatever, you know. And so
that's cool.
It's a blast. But I mean,
beautiful.
I think any sort of online course, whether it's, you know, one like mine or one, you know, where you're learning how to design a website from scratch, so valuable. So valuable. Think about how much a year of college costs. And then all that time, a year of college is a year, or a semester of college is 3-4 months, whatever. But like an online course is something that you can literally do in a weekend, and you can retain all of that knowledge and apply it immediately.
I think we get confused with comparing traditional education with like an online course, and maybe it's an unfair comparison and it's like apples and oranges, and they're two different things. Like I went to uni and I probably don't use like any of my degree, but the life skills I got from university and like meeting people, I met Roshni there, and things like that. Like uni was invaluable, but it's completely different to an online course. And I found the online course really pragmatic, transformational. And like me and Roshni did a personal development course and like getting more courage and confidence. And at the time I was like, no way is this going to help my business. No way is this going to help us. But then like 2 or 3 weeks later, I won an amazing contract at a networking event. And it was like, unbelievable. Just from the confidence and the self-expression I got from the course. So like I think it's really, really important to invest in your education, and it doesn't mean that college education and online courses are the same. It's a different way of looking at it, right?
I think there's definitely a shift over.
And I'm not saying one or the other's bad.
Another thing that I think is so important, especially as a coach and a teacher, like for me specifically, that's why I'm still taking courses. I'm still always learning. Because even though I'm like, have my course, I want to always learn. The internet is changing constantly, like I want to be on TikTok when TikTok launches. I want to be on Threads when Threads launches. I want to be, especially because I have this network, and like every month we have like these group calls. I want to constantly bringing on guest experts, which you guys are going to be the next guest expert, but I want to constantly be teaching my network new things. And I want to constantly be, staying on the forefront of things. So that's why I think that like, even after you're successful, you found success, to not ever be content and complacent with how much you've already learned, but to always keep learning, because you can always learn. You always can learn. And then you can always learn from other people that you're talking to. I mean, other entrepreneurs, other people in the network, other editors. That's what's so valuable about the actual network aspect of the business, is because you are able to talk to all these editors from around the country who are doing the exact same thing in their own towns. And they all come from different backgrounds. I mean, my Las Vegas editor was from Facebook. I mean, she was like always in there talking to us about like new incoming Facebook stuff. So it's just awesome to hear where, to get the different backgrounds and see what people bring to the network. I love it.
Amazing.
I think one last question before we wrap it up.
Okay.
Maybe 2 more questions.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So like your business model includes creating websites as well as helping with blog posts and city publications. So tell us a little bit about that. And also, if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm trying to find like a unique product or a unique offering, what advice would you give to someone to come up with that unique offering that could really resonate with their ideal customers or ideal clients as well? And how did you maybe discover that for yourself when you came up with that unique offering for your customer and client?
So when I was creating the course, I just thought like, what do I wish I would have known, 10 years ago? And so I just basically went through, made 9 modules of like, hey, I wish I would have known this about marketing. I wish I would have known this about social media. And then I just kind of basically very basic, starting from very basic to very like niche stuff that like, this is how you do this specific thing. So that's the kind of the beauty of it. And then, always like every single city I get, every single new editor, after they go through the course, I'm like, hey, how was it for you? Like, what could be better? What was confusing, or what could I add to make it? So each course actually gets bigger and bigger and like more valuable, just because I'm constantly listening to, real life people who are actually creating these businesses and what problems they're running into, what they're seeing. And so I think just like talking to your client and seeing where their problem areas are. And then, you can create a customized package for them specifically. Like I had an editor who didn't want to even touch social media and ever. Like I'm like, okay, well, I'll do the Instagram, which that's not something I offer, but it was something that I offered for him. He's the only boy that I had in the network, but he's like, after we launched the site, he's like, yeah, I don't do Instagram. And I'm like, nope, that's like a huge part of it. We need to have Instagram as part of it. So I start it, and then like the first hour or whatever, we get like 9 followers. And then I text him, and I was like, you have 9 Instagram followers. And he's like, fantastic. That's more than I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm like, amazing. Okay, well, so it's just, you have to really, listen to what your client needs. Obviously, my Lexington girl doesn't need any help with social media because she's killing it. She's like made for social media. She's amazing. But then some people that wouldn't ever want to do that. Some people don't want to do a podcast. Some people would rather, concentrate on the aspect of writing or something. So just kind of like seeing where people need help and listening.
Yeah.
Is it like getting into their world and really finding out what their pain points are and what they're struggling with?
Yeah.
And not assuming that on their behalf, but really asking them firsthand.
A specific challenge. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Amazing, Lindsay. And so you've mentioned that you want to continue, covering cities across the US, and you even want to look to expand into the UK. How do you approach understanding the essence of a city and effectively translating that into your publications?
Yeah. So we have like a structure that works. It's the same structure. If you look at all of our sites, you see that they're structured, like similarly. They all look completely different because the branding and everything, but everything is structured similarly because we found that structure works. And that's like our specific City Living Network structure. No one else is going to have it. And so like, say it's, in London, I've been there one time and it was like 20 years ago. So obviously I wouldn't be like, I could never do London myself. But the thing is, I'm teaching someone from London how to do it in their town. So obviously it wouldn't be me. It's me giving you everything that you need. I could write, I have a team of very talented writers. So we can obviously, like we would do our research. If we did one in London, let's say South Wales, I actually did get an inquiry from South Wales, but we would, do our research on like the best place to go for tea or, best coffee shops. Like we would write an amazing article. We launch with 10 articles, and then, we launch it. We teach you how to do everything. We give it to you, and then it's up to you to keep maintaining it. Like we're not going to keep telling you like the best things to do, because that's something that's where the local editor really comes in and shines, because that's your city, like if someone is coming to Laguna, I'm the person that tells them what to do in Laguna. Like I know exactly what to do. So that's just, we start with our structure. We make you a beautiful website, and then we hand it off to you to be owner and to really do whatever it is that you want to do. Like take it, the sky's the limit. So I would love to like go international, everywhere. After I did that boot camp on Paige Bruton's podcast, I got like inquiries from Bangkok and Singapore and Lahti, Finland. And I mean, it was amazing. And so I would love to do it all over. I mean, I think it's something that's needed in every city. And I think it would be just a blast to do it all and have launch parties just everywhere.
I know.
Maybe we can have a launch party together.
Fantastic.
Maybe one day.
Yeah,
come
for
sure. Come to England.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I would love it.
Definitely.
Let's find someone in London.
Exactly. Fantastic.
I just, to end it really, is like, what advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who's facing personal challenges but they want to build their business. Like, what's the final bit of advice that you give? Yeah.
I would say to find something that you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, it is going to seem like work. So that's the thing. That's why, like, it literally does not feel like a job to me, because my passion is to hang out in Laguna Beach. It's like to build publications, to talk to people, to walk into a coffee shop and talk to the owner about how they started and why they picked Laguna, and like if they grew up here. And like, I like talking to people. I like hearing their stuff. So it doesn't seem like work. Obviously, if it's someone that like doesn't want to talk to people, then it's not going to be the job for them. So I would say that any entrepreneur, I think anyone can be an entrepreneur. I just think it's a matter of finding that thing that you're truly, truly, truly passionate about. And that is really the key, I think.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Me and Rosh have this debate, like, with a lot of British entrepreneurs. Like, I think in our country, we're like, not everyone can be an entrepreneur.
We hear this sometimes.
But like, it's so refreshing to hear like someone like yourself that says, like, you can, as long as you find your passion and your motive and your why.
Yeah.
And I think that's like so important. And it's like the business and work just takes over itself. Like you said, it's not work. Yeah,
exactly.
And I think it's a limiting belief that you can do something fun and make loads of money and have an amazing life. And you can have it all, right? And it's just refiguring and working stuff out. And it's really inspiring to hear someone like you and
an entrepreneur
across the pond in a different country. And it makes us really passionate, excited to do this podcast. So thank you
and
for
to share it with everybody.
sharing your stuff.
Passion, drive, and like access to the internet. I think those are like
that's amazing.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
You should get that on a t-shirt.
Passion, drive, and access to the
internet.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, that needs to be the title of the podcast.
That's so cool.
That is actually like amazing.
Might actually use that in the thumbnail. That's pretty good.
Yeah, wow. I think we should.
Yeah.
I might get that on my wall. Like, printed. Passion, drive, and the internet.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Passion, drive, and access to the internet.
Lindsay, thank you so much. And just to wrap up, I guess, would you like to just quickly let people listening know where they can find you? So that was on Instagram.
Yeah. So citylivingnetwork.com is the website. And then lagunabeachliving.com is the website for Laguna if you're ever coming into town. But City Living Network, it tells you everything. It has like a little highlights the course. It tells you everything that you get. And then you can schedule a Zoom call with me on the website. And then also you can find me on City Living Network's Instagram, lagunabeach.living's Instagram, or my personal one is I Like Lindsay.
Awesome.
I like Lindsay.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I like Lindsay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you so much again for your time, Lindsay. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, give us a big thumbs up and even leave us a comment, good or bad. And if you really want to, hit that subscribe button. Check out our next video here.